Okay, we're live.
Hello everybody, long time no see. Been busy working. I'm sure all of you are busy working in your gardens too. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to jump around today. So I'm going to add some mulch to our boreal potato patch. And so we'll start with that first. And this is a pile of leaves that we've stockpiled from last year. Okay, people bring them to us. And so if you look there, this is like been raked up. It's itself. Oh look, there's ants in it. I'm not going to push in there. They're helping decompose. Now this is really important. Ants are natural decomposers. The forest, they help bring the woody material down into the soil layer. So this is partly decomposed already. Probably leaves are one of the best, okay, for mulch because of the nutrients. Leaves are rich in minerals, okay, because the trees are pulling the nutrients from deep in the earth up to the surface and then releases on the surface. So that's why leaves, but it takes a lot of leaves. So find a place where you can start stockpiling it, because it's okay. These have been here for months. They're still totally fine to use. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a nice big handful, and because of the rain, they're like really, look at how they hold water. You can see they're holding the water. Okay, here, sponge. Yeah, there we go. And okay, and so when we go by, Kim, you can maybe just have a shot of the potato patch. Sure, the big potato patch.
Here's one of our chicken tractors.
Yeah.
Hi chickens. It gets moved around. You can see the potato patch is going good. Here's another chicken. Hello, chickens. Hello, chickens.
Great. This is fantastic.
Wow.
So I'm going to show you a couple things here, okay? So first of all, you see how the flower is opening, okay? When the flowers are opening, the plant is it's definitely growing its potatoes now, okay? So we've had a lot of rain, so it's good, but normally we have this time of year starts being dry. So even if you hadn't watered your potatoes, and we'll pretend it's a dry year, once you see the flower, for sure it's time to give water, okay, for sure. And you can see they're all coming out. That's an excellent sign. So what I'm going to do, I got a little bit of old cardboard here. Now you can see where my potatoes are. There's no weeds growing. It's just the mulch and it's settled down. But the weeds are growing here. So if I wanted to, when I come and I'm checking on I can just pull out these weeds, because what'll happen is this flower will open and then it'll put seed into my garden. So I'm just going to pull them down, okay? And then I have this cardboard. I would just put it right up there, okay? So we can use cardboard for edging, okay, all around. If you're concerned about your weeds, and you can just make a little path all around on the outside, okay? And that's just going to prevent the weedy vegetation from encroaching. Now, some of the weeds, if you get good at knowing your weeds, like this clover, okay? Clover is a beneficial one. Not all weeds are bad. This has nitrogen in it. So what I would do with these ones is add them. I'm going to add them in on my, okay? Even a dandelions without a flower, that can be mulch. You don't have mulch, you have mulch in your, this is a nitrogen fixing sweet clover, same thing in there. Okay? Now I'm not going to put something in that's like crabgrass or the roots because I know that would spread. But all this clover that I'm picking is naturally growing fertilizer. So you can add
that's so cool.
Yeah, it's totally. And even the plantain. But now here's an example. You're going to be careful because that's forming seed. Now the seed is not mature yet, so it'd still be safe. This is also an edible plant, and people eat the seeds and everything. So this also could be used if you had nothing. So you can harvest these wild plants and use them as your mulch. Okay? And so I'm going to add, so if there's something that has no flowers or no seeds, it's safe to use. Okay? So when you're weeding your garden, the work of weeding can also be, and so what I'm going to do is I'm just adding more mulch because because what's happening here is we are growing potatoes and growing soil at the same time. So every time you have the opportunity to add some kind of the natural organic material, it's going to compost slowly and build the layer of soil what you have. And so what I'm doing here is I'm going from this edge because I want these potatoes to stay standing up. Okay? So I'm going to use it all around the edge to hold the plants up. And there's ants in here, but
So why do you need to hold them up?
Because there's a secret with potatoes. Is potatoes are related to tomatoes, okay? And what has been discovered is when the foliage gets really tall, it gets heavy and it tips over and cascades. Well, when that branch of the potato tips over and cascades, it sends a changed hormone that tells itself, oh, winter's coming. Or where they're from, South America, then they stop physically growing their potatoes. And they thicken their skin more. So once the vines get really tall, they slow. But if you keep them going up, like when you trellis your tomatoes, you will get more potatoes. And I've already done it, and the skins are thick enough. They're thick enough. It's okay. And so that's just a sneak. It's like a sneak way of, and a little bit when people hill with soil. See, you could say I'm hilling right now, but you don't need to use soil to hill.
Right.
It can be any material. Yes. Okay. And it's probably better than soil because it's actually a type of fertility. Yeah. All right. I think that's enough here, and you'll see they're absolutely happy campers.
Have you added more fertilizer or anything?
Nope, no fertilizer. All I did was add earlier. I added another layer of
The
cardboard and on top, and that was maybe a couple weeks ago. And yeah, and that's it. And then it settles down just like all compost. As it decays, it shrinks. Okay. That's why you can keep adding. What I'm trying to think, you could cut wild cattails and you could lay them down as green. Remember how we used the cattails when we built this? Well, now the green ones, I wonder if I could pull some out here. I don't have my
scythe.
I don't have my scythe, but I want to show you two. I don't see one here. Yeah, so if you had your cutter, you could come and cut them, and now they're green. Now what's important, no weed seeds in this, okay? And it's going to have more nitrogen because of the green. See what happens with a perennial plant, when it goes brown in the fall, what it is it's putting its energy back down and storing it in the roots. But now the energy's come out. And so there's actually more nutrient. And animals can, like cows and sheep and goats, this is actually kind of like from the grass family. So it's food for your animals too. Say you had rabbits or something, you can take this and feed it to them. And so you can add this too, right in. And then right on the surface, you could harvest cattails and put them everywhere in your garden and use as mulch. If that's one of the only organic vegetation that you could use and you were worried about weeds, because there's no weed seeds. Yeah. All right. Okay. We're going to go way down in the far corner. Okay? And that's where we're heading. But maybe what we'll do as we walk by, I'll show the, let me find it here. Some slug activity. Okay, here's a good one. All right, so this is, I want you to see this. Okay, so this is from slugs. Okay, now you can't see the slugs because they hide when it's hot. Okay, kind of like mosquitoes, very similar. Now, a couple things. You'll notice they keep going back to the same leaf they ate before because slugs follow scent. So if I was to pick off these older damaged leaves, all that would happen is the slugs would migrate to the undamaged ones. Yes. So I don't want to pick off those old leaves. They've indicated to me what's happened is because of the mulch and the rain, we've created a very positive habitat for slugs to proliferate. And what we don't have is the natural predator for the slugs. See, because what happens when we create a managed garden space that's slightly separate from the natural ecosystem, because there's a fence and we're here, the natural predators, the wild ducks, are afraid of us. And they're afraid here. So normally what would happen is if these plants were out somewhere else, the natural predator for the slug would come. So we have to become what we displace. Okay? So that's how we keep the balance. Okay, we got to learn how to keep the balance. So how am I going to do that? Well, you can use, and this is important, beer traps, but it's the non-alcohol beer. It's been tested. That is better. It's like it has an enhanced smell. Because remember, I told you they move by smell. Okay, so much so I'll tell you a quick story because this is important. In England a few years ago, they had such torrential rains, it's caused the slugs to become like a plague. And there was this freeway that the slugs were trying to cross, okay? And they would get up on the slug, and then they would get run over by the car, and their juice would be spilled, and the smell of the dead slugs attracted more slugs so much there was a slug slime across the highway that was causing cars to crash. But the slugs just kept coming, and the only way they wash it off because it was the odor of it. Okay, so that's important. So that's why beer traps work. It's a smell thing. Now the next thing you can use, and in the past there are kind of like poisonous slug baits, but there's a new product that's iron phosphate. So it's an actual mineral that's not toxic. Okay, iron can be toxic. Like if you were to have iron pills and take a whole bottle, that would, you know, you have to be careful with iron. So anyways, you can use that in little dishes, and they will go to that and they eat, and what that does is it causes their bodies to dehydrate and die. Oh. Yes, but it doesn't cause them to become poisonous. So a dried up slug from iron phosphate, if a bird or a mouse or whatever eats it, it's fine. Okay, so that's the part. And these little holes, that's what this is.
Those slugs?
That's it. And people will think they're caterpillars, or because they won't see them.
Yeah.
Okay, but they come out at night. All right, so that's the thing about, and this is applicable to all pests. Pests are showing us there's an imbalance between the predator-prey cycle. And we can become the predator or, in place of that, okay? So this is a really good example of how beneficial these raised, mounded grow beds are for areas of heavy clay. Sorry, because the water is able to go into the path and allow the soil to have the strength. And so there's another good example of the benefit of these slightly raised mounded beds. Can you see them? Look at them. Look at them. Oh. This is a berry from Russia. And you can tell they're ready when they're red inside. Okay, sometimes the berry turns purple on the outside, but it'll still be green on the inside. And they are a sweet and tart berry. So you want to wait until they at least turn red. You'll really know they're ready is when you have to fight the wasps off. Because when they get really sweet, the wasps come too. Okay. Oh God, that's good.
That's haskell.
Oh wow. Delicious. I'm sure we'll have haskell in our CSA very soon.
Yeah.
All right. Now, this I thought is just a superb example of how good this tarping works. Now this particular one here is actually probably in every town. This is actually a fabric that the heavy equipment people that build roads, okay, this is sometimes they lay down, if they're building a driveway or something, on the soil when they put the gravel on top. So it's pretty common. What I like about it, it's tough. You can reuse it over and over and over again. Whereas the other one we use, that's the plastic that's white and black, it's a little easier to get holes in it. Okay, so now look what's happened here. The wind blew this so many times we gave up. And I thought, I'm just going to leave it, because you got to realize if this black tarp wasn't here, this whole spot would have weeds this high. Okay? So if right now you've got your garden planted and you're thinking about next year and you're like, man, I want to have a bigger garden, this right now is the time. Go into the spot that you think is like, oh man, it's so full of weeds. Get your lawnmower, get your whippersnipper, and just hack them down. Just hack them down. The seed is not mature yet, so even though these look like they have seeds, the seeds have not developed, so it's too late. I don't have to worry about these weed seeds proliferating. And then get any kind of tarp and lay it down, because I'm going to roll this back so you can see the inside. And this has only been here, this has only been here for, you know, maybe 2 months, maybe 2 months. Look at the difference. You see? There's nothing growing.
Wow. That really does work.
There's nothing growing here. Trust me, these plants are in here too. But just by doing this, and so that's it. It's like, this is the probably the most organic way of dealing with vegetation without spraying glyphosate. See, what happens to farmers and why they are tempted to use those herbicides, they're herbicides to kill vegetation. Insecticide means to kill insect, okay? It's because they have thousands of acres and they're not using this system of, because they can't, or they think they can't. There are ways. And so then they go, oh my God, how am I going to clear my field? How am I going to get rid of all this vegetation? And so then they give in to spraying. And that's what they're trying to go fast, okay? So what we do instead is think and plan. And say, plan early enough like this, get that tarp laid down early enough, or even this year you could lay it down and it could be there the whole rest of the summer, through the whole winter, and then in the spring you open it up. So what possibly, if you did this now, because we're mid-July, it probably would, and make sure it's well watered before you put the tarp on. So if you were to cut the vegetation, okay, make sure it's all nice and moist, and then you put the tarp on, that's going to compost. It's going to compost all the vegetation, and possibly July, August, September. In September, on those nice fall days, you might be able to roll your tarp back and say you want to rototill because you want to build mounded beds, okay? You could do that. You could physically do the soil preparatory work this fall, get your beds made, then cover it again, okay? And now those beds will be under there and waiting, and no weeds will grow until you're ready to plant. And so this is the way to break the cycle of being dependent on herbicides. We can use time,
Yeah.
okay, as a tool,
Yeah.
to help break that dependency. Okay, any questions?
Nope, no questions.
All right, I think that's it, folks. I hope you liked it. And the part about the pests is super. Oh, I know what. There was one other question someone had given to me, wanted to address, and it's about aphids. Okay, so what's important to understand is, just like humans, if we have a weakened immune system, if we have too much stress, say we're not getting enough sleep, say we're not drinking enough, not getting outside and getting enough sunlight, okay? We're not doing that for ourselves. Our immune system gets weakened and we become more susceptible to bugs. The same is for plants. So sometimes if you have, not in all cases, like with the slugs, what's happened is we've created an ideal habitat for the slugs and we've displaced the predators. But in other situations, sometimes aphids tend to be an indicator of plant stress. So what'll happen is the plant will get hot and dry and then get watered and hot and dry, and sometimes we'll use Miracle-Gro. And just so you know, Miracle-Gro is so like sugar. It's identical, and it causes a type of sap to be formed in the plant that the aphids love. They love it. It's like corn syrup to them.
Wow.
Yeah, and they'll just proliferate. What happens to those artificial fertilizers cause the plant to grow very fast, and the skin of their leaf doesn't get thick enough. So what happens is, because the thickness of the leaf is like a membrane, just like when you put a bee suit on when you go to work on your beehive so the bees won't bite you, it's like going to your beehive without a suit. And so what happens, it's really easy for the aphid to pop through the leaf and drink the sap. And so a lot of times Miracle-Gro liquid type fertilizers will boost aphids. So if you know that, if you see that, then what you do is you can use soapy water, just literally like a nice biodegradable dish soap of any kind, and you spray it on, and the soap causes them to suffocate. Also, water, just literally a good Not too hard. Sprayer, mist, right close. It blasts them. Their bodies are so fragile, they puncture and die.
Wow.
Yeah, water will kill them. And then you can, I would switch mulch and just watch. And so only some plants tend to be susceptible to aphids too. Aphids are a lot more common in greenhouses because of the same principle. So this garden is slightly separated from the environment, but it still has the wind, and it still has the rain, and it still has the little birds and the fence, but the wild ducks don't come. Now the greenhouse is one more layer of separation from the natural ecosystem. So there's no wind in there and rain, and so those smaller pests can have a greater hiding spot, okay, because they are often killed literally just by this hot sun. And so they're here, but they cannot proliferate because of their frailness of their body. And so that's why aphids, you tend to see them inside cultivated spaces. It's why. But that's it. Okay,
Wonderful.
folks. So
Okay.
get building your gardens for next year.
Yep.
All right. Goodbye.
All right, thanks, everyone.
Yeah.